Imagine this. You wake up one morning, not in your soft bed, not wrapped in your warm blankets, not in the familiar comfort of your home, but on the cold, hard floor. Your clothes are coarse, rough against your skin. Your stomach growls because you haven't eaten since yesterday. And when you finally do, it's only a piece of stale bread and a sip of water. This is not a nightmare. This is not punishment. This is a choice. And it was the choice of the Stoics. Why would some of the most powerful, intelligent, and wealthy men of history deliberately choose such discomfort when they could have lived in endless luxury? Why would a Roman senator sleep on the floor? Why would an emperor eat the simplest meals? Why would a slave, who had already suffered, willingly embrace more hardship? The answer is one of the greatest paradoxes of wisdom. By choosing discomfort, they found freedom. We live in an age that worships comfort. With one click, food arrives at our doors. With one button, the room becomes warm or cool. Entertainment streams endlessly into our hands. We have more than the Stoics could ever dream of. And yet, despite our abundance, anxiety, fear, depression, and fragility are everywhere. We panic when the Wi-Fi goes down. We rage when the air conditioner breaks. We despair when we don't have the latest gadget. The Stoics would not be surprised. They knew long ago, comfort makes us weak, and weakness makes us slaves. This is why they turned to voluntary discomfort, not as torture, not as self-hatred, but as training. Training for the unpredictable storms of life. Training for loss, change, and suffering. Training for freedom. Ancient Rome meets modern warriors. Seneca, one of the wealthiest men in Rome, practiced poverty rehearsals. He wore his roughest clothing, ate the cheapest food, and slept in the simplest way possible. Then he would ask, "Is this what I feared?" He discovered that when you strip life down to its bones, the fear of loss disappears. Now compare this to today's Navy SEAL training, a modern example of voluntary discomfort. Hell Week, as it's called, pushes recruits to the edge of collapse. 5 days of constant drills, freezing water, mud, and exhaustion. Many quit, but those who endure discover the same truth Seneca found. Pain is survivable, and fear loses its grip when you face it directly. The Stoic senator and the Navy SEAL, separated by 2,000 years, learned the same lesson: suffering builds strength. Epictetus and the minimalist movement. Epictetus was born a slave. He had nothing, not even his own freedom. His master broke his leg, leaving him crippled for life. Yet Epictetus discovered a freedom that even emperors struggled to find. He said, "Wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants." Fast forward to today. We see echoes of Epictetus in the minimalist movement. Modern people, overwhelmed by clutter and consumption, have found liberation in owning less. They give away belongings, live in tiny homes, and deliberately simplify. Why? Because by stripping away the unnecessary, they gain something priceless: clarity and freedom. Epictetus, the slave-turned-philosopher, and the minimalist of today, both found that voluntary discomfort breaks chains that wealth and possessions quietly wrap around us. Marcus Aurelius in modern leadership. Marcus Aurelius, emperor of Rome, could have drowned in luxury, but he deliberately chose discipline, simplicity, and hardship. He knew that a ruler who cannot endure discomfort is no ruler at all. He wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Now, look at today's great leaders and entrepreneurs. Think of someone like Elon Musk, who slept on the factory floor of Tesla when the company was near collapse, eating little, working relentlessly, enduring discomfort most billionaires would flee from. Or think of Steve Jobs, who wore the same simple black turtleneck every day, not just for branding, but to cut away unnecessary choices and focus on what mattered. Like Marcus, they understood that voluntary discomfort sharpens leadership. True strength is not measured in wealth or indulgence, but in discipline and resilience. The science of hardship. The Stoics intuited what modern science has now confirmed: the body and mind grow through stress, not through ease. A muscle grows only when it is torn and repaired. A mind sharpens only when challenged. A soul deepens only when tested. Modern psychology calls this hormesis, the idea that exposure to controlled stress makes us stronger. Cold plunges, fasting, exercise, endurance challenges all echo the Stoic principle of voluntary discomfort. Practices for today. So how do we practice voluntary discomfort in our modern lives? You don't need to live as a monk. But you do need to challenge yourself. Take a cold shower. At first, it feels unbearable, but soon you realize you are stronger than the shock. Fast for 24 hours. Watch how your cravings rise and fall. Realize hunger will not break you. Sleep on the floor for a night. Strip away the layers of comfort and discover how little you actually need. Go for a long walk without headphones, without distractions. Face silence. Choose exercise that challenges you. Run farther than you think you can. Lift heavier than you thought possible. Every small act of discomfort is a rehearsal for life's storms. Modern parallels, from athletes to monks. Professional athletes practice voluntary discomfort every day. They wake before dawn. They endure grueling training. They push their bodies to exhaustion. Why? Because in competition, only those who have mastered discomfort rise to victory. Spiritual monks, too, across traditions. From Buddhist monks meditating in icy caves to Christian ascetics fasting for weeks, have always known the same truth. Strength is found in surrendering to hardship, not in fleeing it. Even ordinary people like you and me can practice this. Think of marathon runners, climbers, or parents raising children on little sleep. Voluntary discomfort is not reserved for philosophers or warriors. It is available to anyone willing to test their limits. Why it matters? Because life will test you whether you choose it or not. Death will visit, loss will strike, fortune will turn. If you have trained in comfort, life will break you. If you have trained in discomfort, life will not shake you. This is why the Stoics practiced voluntary discomfort. They wanted to live as free men and women, not as slaves to luxury. They wanted to master themselves, not be mastered by fear. So ask yourself, when was the last time you did something hard? Not because you had to, but because you chose to. When was the last time you sat with hunger, cold, silence, or fatigue and discovered you could endure? When was the last time you tested your own fragility and found strength you didn't know was there? Final word. The Stoics remind us, strength is not built in ease. Freedom is not found in luxury. Peace is not discovered in comfort. They are forged, like steel and fire, in chosen hardship. So practice discomfort, not as punishment, but as preparation. Not as suffering, but as training. Not to make life harder, but to make yourself unbreakable. Because comfort will fade, discomfort will come, and when it does, you will stand tall, unshaken, and free. If this message has resonated with you, then help us share it. Like this video, share it with someone who needs this reminder, and subscribe to this channel so we can continue bringing more timeless insight from the Stoics into our modern lives. Together, let us build not just an audience, but a brotherhood and sisterhood of strength. People who choose the harder path, not because it is easy, but because it is right. Be still, be strong, and when in doubt, practice what the Stoics knew so well. Embrace discomfort because it will set you free.